Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Laurel Park on this last weekend. Today at the races, this last weekend of our summer meet here at Laurel, Callie Francois, Tim Tulloch. It's kind of cliche, but where did the summer go?
Where did the summer go? It burned up. It burned up and it evaporated into thin air. And we got Tim Tulloch on set with us for this finishing up with a nice weekend with a nice host here in Tim Tulloch. Tim Tulloch, how was Saratoga? You were just in town.
Saratoga was great as always. I ran into you up there, yeah, Saratoga is great. It's interesting times up there at Saratoga, but
yes.
Right now, yeah, Saratoga was always good.
Saratoga's always good. It was good to run into you at the sale. We both ran into each other Monday night at the Fasig-Tipton sale. The whole crew was there. In fact, I saw the girls running around before I saw Tim, so that was my indicator of knowing that Tim, I was eventually going to see him go around the corner.
You can always find some fun and some trouble at Saratoga. We have a big weekend here for you. It's our last 3 days of racing for the summer meet. We've had a really, really nice summer with some good quality racing. We have 10 races today. 10 races tomorrow, and then we finish off the meet on Sunday. But we have an interesting race going on in both the trainers and the jockey standings. Let's start with the jockeys. You've got Toledo, 2 up on Horacio Caramanos.
And it's been nose to nose. It's been a head bob for about the past 3 weeks to a month, Tim. Just the contest between these two has not slowed down. And it's very encouraging for Toledo with Sheldon Russell back. They both have the same agent and Marty Leonard. So Toledo's still keeping his business up very, very strong coming into this late summer action.
And even more intriguing is the trainers race as we head into the final weekend here at Laurel Park. Claudio Gonzalez and Rudy Sanchez-Solomon are tied with 18 apiece. Now, Claudio has a numbers advantage. He has 5 in today to Rudy Sanchez's 2 today. But don't count out Dale Capuano. Dale Capuano will go on a run at any time, and he's got some runners in the next few days.
He does. He has some horses coming off of the layoff. We have Sulov's Barbados on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that horse making comeuppance. But a couple of nice runners with Dale Capuano to make a nice. And you said it yourself. And he could come in with a late charge at any time he wanted to. He picked the right weekend to do it.
And my best bet of the day is a Dale Capuano runner, Claire's Darling.
There we go.
In the 5th and the single on my early pick 4. Let's take a look outside, and it's absolutely gorgeous here today. A little bit of a breeze, mostly sunny as far as I'm concerned, 72 degrees.
This is how summer should have been the entire time. We had we had a couple of heaters, as I said, of summer evaporating into thin air because of the heat, but we come back to a nice, calm, going out like a lamb. I know that's a spring term, but we're going to use that for summer today, and should have a wonderful day of racing here on the dirt and on the turf.
Yeah, we're going to start fast and firm this afternoon. You think Maryland as a northeast. Maryland has northern winters and southern summers. They just don't last as long, and hopefully they have broke now. Let's get going. Race 1 kicks off the early pick 5. Mandatory payout in the early pick 5 as always. 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low. Takeout gets started here in race 1. Race 1 is a maiden event. Maiden claiming price $20,000, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Let's take out some horses here that's important. Take out the 2 Skeptical. Take out the main track only Mailman's a Flyer.
Yep.
And the 12 Front Dancer. That allows the 13 Believe in Rock and Roll to draw into this race. This is very important because you and I both have this one on top of 4 Charlie Frock. Jan Avilas gets the call, coming out of a decent effort against Tougher, but 2 back at this level, or closest level, just missed.
It just missed, and that's the type of run that we're going to see. I love how this horse has also had some time off, ample enough time off. Entered 14th of August, but was a trainer scratch that day. That was on a dirt event, so we come back to the turf, rolls in off the AE at that outside post. Absolutely love that outside post. Yana Ville is coming in with a little bit of fire under his pocket coming into this week and riding very well.
And this one gets back to a firm turf course this afternoon. It hooked a good turf course in his last start. 2 starts ago, lifetime best over firm, and that's exactly what he'll get today. The 10 is Crimson Rocket. This is the first time in the barn for Brittany Russell. She hits at about 35%, turning this one back from a route on the turf and getting Lasix for the first time.
Lasix for this first time, I think, is key. However, looking back at those notes, it had a rank moment on the backside. Wasn't ranked the entire time on the backside, and simply just got discouraged after that. I think as soon as the horses come from behind, get up to Crimson Rocket, I think he throws in the towel. But the Lasix, with which Brittany Russell is 44% with that as a barn trend, should be plenty for Crimson Rocket to do.
And it comes in with some very, very sharp works right here at Laurel for Brittany Russell. Let's take a look at the 4. This is Worthy of Gold for Justin Nixon. Johan Rosado gets the call. He'll be making his second lifetime start as a 5-year-old. This is our video spotlight, your video spotlight. We're going to start at the break. Where you saw something
well, there's
interesting.
no starter with this guy. As a first-time starter, it's encouraging that he was quiet, but as you can see, wasn't quite awake when those gates opened, and he woke up and he ended up brushing against that outside gate and getting in between horses. Completely missed the break. As you can see, he's trailing behind the field here, and that's where this horse typically ends up. He makes a little bit of run coming at the end, but overall, we're sitting on a Justin Nixon second-time starter. Barn trend 50% with his second-time starters, coming in with off of a nice fluke from that first time out.
A better break could make all the difference for Worthy of Gold this afternoon. We both have a little interest in the 5, Hindenburg for Milan Milosevic, coming off 2 consecutive good races right here at Laurel Park. Let's move to race number 2. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4 with no Keith Fustel. I had to come in off the bench to do an early pick 4 ticket. Here it is, $24. I spread in race 2, race 3, and sort of in race 4 also. I go 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that beaten nickel race spread there in race 3. That's a maiden 45 going long on the turf. I spread again. 4, 6, 8, and 9. Come down a little bit in race 4, 2 lifetime 10, the 1, 2, and the 6. And I single on my best bet of the day. That is a 10. Claire's Darling for Dale Capuano in that state bred allowance race going 5.5 on the turf. $24 ticket in the early pick 4.
Keeping it the same price as Keith, so that's pretty encouraging. Good job.
Keith gets even cheaper than that sometimes. I'm not as cheap as Keith.
You're not. I do
race
like
2.
Race 2.
Beaten nickel. Horse haven't run race in 6 months or never won 4, 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And Callie, you like the 8 in here. Here we go for Hugh McMahon. Coming out of Penn National, Gene Olivello gets the call, but has some positive races not that long ago right here at Laurel Park.
Exactly, here at Laurel Park, over at Pimlico as well, of this year in the end of May. That's a key race that I thought of as well. Just that outside, I'm going with this outside post on a horse that has some gate speed. I think that he's going to help him. That outside post is going to help with his gate speed. There's going to be Boppin' and a Weavin' who's going to throw some speed to him, so it helps that he's on the outside, because this is the horse that kind of needs the lead. But again, key races are also last September at Parks, and then, of course, this May back at Pimlico. Jean Ovello still going on strong after losing his apprenticeship. Nice to get that he gets in for Hugh McMahon. 5-2
on the morning line for Here We Go. I have the 2 jetting out on top of 4 Kieran McGee. First time in the barn of Kieran McGee. That's a positive. 7th different barn this horse has been in within the last year, and he drops to a lifetime low for Kieran. But the numbers are there if you can run back to them.
The numbers are there, and I'm also referring. This is an interesting horse. This horse has been running on the dirt, but he broke his maiden on the turf, and he's put in some nice runs on the synthetic at Gulfstream Park. So that's just my question. I like that he's got Jaime Rodriguez on. Jaime's going to give this horse a nice forward positive ride that he needed. He didn't quite get that last time out. So I think Kieran McGee interjecting some speed into this horse as he normally does with his first time in the barn. I think this sets up nice for jetting out.
8-2 for Callie in race 2 to kick off the early pick 4. 2-1 for myself as we move to race 3. This is a maiden $45,000 event going a mile and 16th on the turf course. Rail set at 35 feet for maiden 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And we will start with our top pick. This is a 4 keys discount for Madison Myers. Kevin Gomez gets the call, third off a break today, and coming off a nice race.
I thought I was going to get sneaky with that one,
No,
but I'm not. I guess I'm not. I guess I'm not as smart as I thought I was. But new horse.
None of us are.
None of us are. Good point. Good. This horse was a new horse after getting the blinkers on for the first time. I actually was down at the Middleburg Training Center, and I worked that guy before he did that nice run. And again, just big difference with that horse with the blinkers on. Got a lot out of that, and I think we're going to get just to see a little bit of that a bit better this time out today.
Well, that was a nice race on July 17th where he only got beat a length and a half while running second off the layoff, as I mentioned. The 6, we have a little video spotlight on. This is a Ripken. We're going to go back to June 25th of this year where he ran a big race just missing at this maiden 40 level.
He went through a wide enough gap, kept running despite not having any real challenge from that Mike Trumbetter wide set horse before that we see up on the outside. But then once this outside horse tightens up a little bit on him, you're going to see him resurge right here, just a little bit smidge near the wire. The race could set up like that where there's a little bit of challenge. This horse, to me, he's always just there. Something needs to be happening. This horse seems to like traffic, and I think being from the 6th post, that might help him. We get interestingly enough, Victor Carrasco, we get a new jock on, so I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Not to say that Karamanos hasn't done a thing wrong, but with a new jock, that might just get a little bit more energy resurgent for Damon DeLudovico.
And this horse is in good form. He stayed in when the race came off the turf in his last start. He ran 30, only got beat 3 lengths for the whole thing. You have the 1 in the mix, 8-1 on the line. This is Baton. Coming off a layoff before Michael Pino, J-Ron Barbosa gets the ride and getting LASIK for the first time.
LASIK for the first time. Mike Pino, short sampling 50% on the turf and 44% dirt to turf. Half sibling Fort Moultrie is a nice runner on the turf, so it makes sense with this move. However, it's longer on the turf, so I won't be surprised if this is a bit of a warm-up to the layoff to the bigger picture for this Mike Pino runner.
That's race 3, a nice maiden event going a mile and a 16th here at Laurel Park. Race 4 is a 2 lifetime claiming event. $10,000 is the tag, going 5.5 furlongs. And we'll start with your top pick. This is a 2 Howard's Rock for Claudio Gonzalez, one of the 5 that Claudio has in today. J-Ron Barbosa is getting the call. This one's dropping to a life low. Looks like the one to beat. You know, Claudio's not going to want to give up that training title. He's all in this weekend.
He's going, and I'm sure his owners are sitting there right behind and being supportive of that. But in the sense, this horse, it was time for him to drop this horse anyway down to this maiden 10. So, and taking a play from your book, that he did it for maiden 16, so just a little bit over of half of what he broke his maiden for. That makes sense. Of course, you have this horse who is a need the lead type, but he does have the ability to fight late. But my only concern is that he won't get off easy the first 1/8 of the race. If he can nail that first 1/8 of the race, then he gets pretty strong and brave.
This should work. I mean, he's getting a lot of class relief. I went elsewhere. I went with the 6, Johnny Swish for Mario Saray, right back for Mario Saray. He does this a lot. He's at 16%. That's an industry average, and he does this more than anybody. Not always my favorite thing to do, but he has success. He's been better since getting back down to this $8,000 level, and he's got a win 3 back at Delaware Park.
Well, and that's why I get it. I understand why you put him on top, and I was tempted to put him on top as well, but I was just, he was running so short back. That's my biggest concern that you did highlight about Mario Saray Jr., so he does this a lot. But however, it makes sense that he's on top because he's probably the most consistent of this group, if not to win, to at least get some money in action on it today.
They had 2 back. They tried to chase him up to the lead. That didn't work. I would expect them to be laying a little bit this afternoon from the outside for Grant Whitaker. A race of 5 does kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. There is no carryover from the other day, but Callie, you put together a ticket for us anyway. Let's see how you played it.
Why not? Hey, and I could have gone, so I do go wide. I could have gone wider on this opener in this first leg. Left Magical Luna out because I'm always weary of a need the lead type. Race number 6, I added extra crunchy as the 4 for a nice 12-1 morning line odd price. Race number 7, I made a gutsy move with my best bet, but a lot of nice evenly matched. It's a nice evenly matched race, so I could have included more. I had to include more, and I could have gone more, but my best bet is in this race, so I just did a little conservative. Race number 8, I do regret not having Bandits Warrior, the number 6, on my ticket, so keep note of that, guys, but I'm trying not to go too crazy expensive with this ticket. Race number 9, this is like a race 6 situation. Plenty of options in this race going either way, and that's how I kept myself secure with those choices in the 2, the 4, the 6 there. And then in the last leg of it, I had to find a single somewhere, so might as well go with Fire in the Hole, but we do have a Mike Merriman on turf at a price, video on that later, and a Russell horse that has pepped up in the number 10, but I keep it consider it at $43.20 for my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket starting race in 5.
Here we go. Race 5 does kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. This is going 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. Rail set at 87 feet. This is for fillies and mares, state bred first level allowance race. We'll start with your top pick. That is the 6 Island Philo for Susan Cooney. Mr. Arujo gets the call. This one fired a lifetime best in that last race. Now, that was a stake, ran behind some pretty okay horses, Spun Glass and Ellenation. But even if you draw a line through that race, you'll see some other races that will work here.
The race just prior wasn't too far off of that in that allowance over at Colonial. So good for Susan Cooney. This filly, what I like is that you put this filly up in competition and then she does step up to the plate. That's what I really like about this filly. She had a nice clean trip, but given the chance, you notice that this filly she has these little bursts down the stretch that I think could handle a little bit of traffic. Dennis is going to put another smart ride on this horse. Very game. Once Ellenation gave her a nice finish on her outside, she had a nice little resurgence in that last race. That's what caught my eye about Island Philo the most at 4-1.
Earned a very gaudy number in that race, 82. Best number before that was a 65. If she runs back to that, they're all running for second. Chances are she probably won't, but her other races are very, very close. I have the 10 on top, Claire's Darling. This is my best bet of the day. 9-2. On the line for Dale Capuano. Jan Aviles gets the call. They hit it about 40%. They are just rolling right along right here at Laurel Park, 29% overall. She's been in very good form since her return in June, and she's coming off a lifetime best figure.
What's great about this filly, especially that last time out on the turf with a little bit of moisture in it, she gets the outside post. She has the ability of tactics from that last start to just sit right off of any pacemakers, which Hitch a Ride, Magical Luna, those are probably your sharper gate speed fillies in this race. Just a filly that's really coming, as you said, into form ever since coming back. I love these winter layoffs that most of them get. Dale Capuano is hitting at about 36% with his third off of the layoff, and that's what we saw her at. So another filly that's going to continue to be in form for Capuano.
The 9 Gals Gal will be a third-time starter for Tim Keefe. Got outrun going 5.5 furlongs and came with a pretty good run. Then came back, broke her maiden in pretty good fashion in her last start, going 5.5 at that maiden 45 level. Fired a big 72 by her speed figure. That is race 5 to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. We are going to have to take a little break, but we'll be right back after this quick message.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
Welcome back to Today at the Races at Laurel Park. Let's move on to race 6. Race 6 kicks off the late pick 5, and this is an hours of 2 lifetime 7/8 of a mile. $10,000 is the claiming price for fillies and mares. We'll start with the 1. Bells will be ringing. Johan Rosado rides for Gary Contessa, coming off some decent races up there at Delaware Park.
And that's the problem, though. So I understand the 6-1 since those Delaware numbers are they need to step it up when they come to Laurel Park from those Delaware fields. But hits the perfect distance since she was so game last time out. I think Gary has been trying to figure out what distance she needs and gets the answer right here. On top of that, he as an individual, Gary Contessa has been doing well from that Delaware to Laurel. That's a barn trend. He's hitting at 25% right now. But this filly is always going to give a try. I think Johan also is going to fit this filly very, very well.
I have the 3, Hummin' the Funk on top, all in on Dale Capuano today. This is first off the claim for Dale. Another rider he's having a lot of success with, Gene Avello, gets the call, 19%. Dale is about first off the claim. 2 sharp works since that last race. 7/8 of a mile, lifetime best races on his form, 3 back. He ran behind a couple pretty nice horses at the time, Canoodle and summer odds.
And
I
not
like
only,
this one.
not only that, lifetime best at 7, but the other 7 furlong race back in October wasn't against that type of field. Made a nice run at the end, and that was so. This distance is going to fit this filly pretty well. I know you gave a stat, but as a barn trend, as of late, in the past 20 first after the claim, sitting at 30% with that 6-4-1 first, second, and third out of 20. So that just very, very strong, as you so noted. A nice, sharp lung opening work on August 14th. Dale Capilano sneaking one, not so much sneaking one underneath us.
Yeah, how about that one? 35 and change. That's a fast work for Dale. Don't count out the 9, Miss Fox Ann. This is a first off the claim for Claudio Gonzalez with 2 works since then. Race 7 is close to our feature race today. Yes, it is our feature race today. 2 other than going a mile on the grass for 3-year-olds and upward, and both you and I have the 5 King's Honor on top for Brittany Russell. Let's take a look back at his July 4th race right here at Laurel Park under Forest Boys. We're going to pick this up at the top of the wire.
Gutsy little horse.
Top of the wire, top of the stretch.
Top of the stretch. Gutsy little horse, but Forest and this horse had to do a lot of the hard work early on. This horse was pulling at Forest the whole way around there, got pressed early at the 3/8, just a case of doing the hard work up front. Has been able to come off the pace. I just think this last time out, coming off of that longer layoff, he was just sharp. Forest did everything that she could to just keep him under wraps, and again, just ended up doing all the hard work up front.
This will be second off a break for Brittany. She hits at just a lukewarm 26%, and she came out of that race. He came out of that race with a favorable short comment from Keith Fustel, grudgingly. You always love to see that. The 1B determined for Suzanne Cetinius. Kevin Gomez gets the call. You have in the mix. This is a horse that was in really, really good form. I just feel like he's trying to fall off of his form a little bit of late.
And you could say that, because you could say that the horse never fired it. There were plenty of those in the back. Got a little bit trigger happy at the half in that race. So there was, from the half mile on, there was plenty for him to do, and he wasn't quite on target right away in the beginning of that race. Therefore, he didn't pass any horses around the elbow. They were all going with him. To me, he was just a little bit discouraged in that run and ended up just staying behind horses a little bit. So I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt, give him a chance to come back into form off of the rail for Suzanne Cetinius.
The 4 is Broker's Reward. This one is coming out of the Audacious Quality race. That was a big race on July 31st. Audacious Quality ran a huge race that day. This one's turning back to a mile this afternoon where he's done his best racing.
And I'm just a little bit questioning. His form is just a little bit spotty, but he's due ever since coming back in May of this year. He just hasn't quite been totally on target. He's been close, but again, if you go back at that mile here, he really does seem to enjoy that mile here at Laurel on the turf here. He's 3 for 8 on the 2-turn mile here at Laurel Park.
That's a nice race. We've got a nice card
We
today.
have a wonderful card today.
Let's move on to race 8. This is state bred for fillies and mares going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And you have the 5 Sweet Gracie on top for Ferris Allen. Recent strong efforts, there's no doubt about that. Fired a lifetime best 80 while getting beat a nose in the Miss Disco restricted stake. Behind Divine Huntress in her last start.
Yeah, she had a lovely roomy rail trip. It was a roomy rail trip. It wasn't anything, she wasn't anything too gutsy, and she was encouraged, but she was just patient, and she was super game at the end, almost got it. She just didn't hang. They all just ran so well in that race, and it was just, to me, it was just a bit of a matter of a head bob. So she's been slowly but surely stepping up a little bit at each time, so I'm just being a little bit encouraging of that for the Ferris Allen runner.
She was dead game that day.
Yeah.
I remember that race. Divine Huntress,
yes.
Graham Motion horse, who was short priced that day. She was down inside, and she just kept on getting it and trying to get the win. Sharp work since that last race, half mile, August 13th, 48-1. I have the 6 Bandits Warrior on top for John Rye, but Xavier Perez gets the call as usual. Already a winner of this race, of the Open A other than, drops back down to the state bred A other than, comes back off a short freshening, but this is a filly who shows up every time, every single time.
every single time. And she's a different version of RB Star who's on the inside, but she has advantage of a tick more speed. She has that outside post, but the high 5.5 is going to help for her, especially getting back to that distance that she prefers. A nice work on August 7th. A nice sharp work at 5 furlongs, 101 flat to beat out 18 others for the heat, for the bullet work.
And coming off this short rest, Rob hits at about 28%. Coming off that 30 to 60 day rest. But honest filly, honest as a day is long. Let's talk about the one real quick. RB Star, another runner for Claudio Gonzalez today. JD Acosta gets the call, has speed, has the rail, has a work sense. A lot of good here.
A lot of good here. However, she is a little bit one-dimensional. She perhaps may be able to handle a late challenge if you go back to that maiden event at Delaware, where she didn't get that top position, but she still churned on and hugged on. So she does have the ability to get up there and handle some late pressure, which is why I just gave her a little bit. I'm giving, again, Claudio Gonzalez is trying to get that training title, so I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of an edge coming in with these Claudio Gonzalez runners in this last weekend.
If you turn for home and you're in front, there's only one rider you want on to hopefully get them all the way there, and he's right there. JD Acosta, very, very good on milking the lead and having something left to finish. Claudio Gonzalez is going to be very, very tough this afternoon. Race 9, 2 other than a mile on the main track for 3-year-olds and upward. No, for 3-year-olds. Which is everyone two other than. Come on. Two other than. It's been a week. I was on vacation.
It's fine.
Here we go. So 2 other than. Nice race we've got right here. Let's start with the 4 Caribbean for Claudio Gonzalez, Jayron Barbosa. You have this one on top. I have this one in the mix. Stepping back up for Claudio, got back in the winner's circle and dropping back down to a little bit of softer group in his last.
And just a runaway winner that last time out, I think they're going to take the same approach. That's the only reason why I put this horse on top, because he is in good form under the Gonzalez barn. 27% third after the claim, and again, I think they're not just going to go for the lead. I think they're going to try to run away with the lead in the exact same fashion that they did last time out, because that's how this horse seems to run. As long as nobody is near this horse, he gets more confident as they go along.
Sharp work since that last race, 47 and change on the 13th of August. I like the 6, Uncle Irish for Jamie Ness. Jaime Rodriguez gets the call. Look, he's back in Maryland where he has found success, including his life best in a romp 3 back, going this 1-turn mile where he fired an 85 Beyer speed figure.
And I like Jaime Rodriguez on him again. Again, he just needs a very confident go. Was just a bit too much pressured, and he was on the inside. He didn't like that trip. He gets the 6 post now, gets a little bit of a leeway onto him. And Jamie Ness has been rolling. He was pretty cold with that Parks to Laurel fashion, but now he's starting to hit at that 21% clip. So this horse will definitely be running, as you mentioned, coming back to Laurel where he seems to like it a little touch better.
You have interest in the 2 Maximum Impact for Norman Cash, who's having himself a nice meet here this summer, winning at 21%. So let's look back at his August 7th race here at Laurel. This was a first level allowance race, and this was pretty good. Now, this was going 1.1 miles.
This is going 1.1 miles, so we get a little bit more of an easier time for him. And I like this move. Not just the inside move, fine. That's fine. But once this horse gets up to a nice ride by William Humphrey, now think of this horse and getting a little bit of an extension with that extension beyond the first wire. We get some action at the second wire. This horse was still running very, very nice in the gallop out once he crossed this wire.
That was a good race, lifetime best 77. He's going to have to come back with that this afternoon, if not a little bit better. Race 10, first level allowance race, mile and a 16th on the turf. We're going to have to talk about these races more this afternoon, or you and John Scheinman will, because this is a very, very deep card and a deep field, and we end the day with a big 12-horse field. Yes, we do. How about that? Here we go. We both have the 13 on top. Fire in the hole, first level allowance on the turf. 4 Graham Motion, third off the break, turns back to this mile and 16th distance today. Recent 2 efforts have been good. Gives himself a lot of work to do. Hope he stays a little closer to that.
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing, and that's the biggest worry about this horse. My only worry is that we're still probably going to see that slow effort coming out of the gate. You want to see, of course, I agree with you, we want to see this horse press a little bit more forward, but are we going to be able to see that? And that's the thing. So he's been able to do it at the mile and 16th. So I feel like that's why I'm giving him that 11 furlong effort last time out. Sure, that was great, but just a touch too long. So hopefully maybe this gets a little bit of speed in him.
The outside draw, not an issue for Fire in the Hole. You like the 6 a bit. Back in for Michael Merriman. We're going to look at her race, from August 3rd. At Penn National. We're going to pick it up at the top of the stretch.
Here's what caught my attention about Beckon is that either in her form, she's either been on the lead or dead asleep. We get a nice happy medium here. Just a really educating trip. Got a little bit pressed, got bumped up for second in that race. Got a little bit shy here and got a little bit shy, drifted a little bit back on the gallop out, but this filly definitely got enough out of that race to try it for here. So I'm at a price, why not? Why not put her underneath?
13-6-9-4 in the finale this afternoon at the Laurel Park for Cali. 13-8-12-9. Lots of value there. Lots of different ways to go, and we could talk about that race more, and I bet you and John Scheinman will this afternoon. We're getting close to the end of this little show here on this big day, but let's go to our lightning round. We have a few things to talk about right now. Well, as we mentioned, this is the last weekend of our meet, so come Sunday, there's going to be mandatory payouts on everything. The Super High 5, the Rainbow Pick 6, the Late Pick 5, it's all got to go. So hopefully maybe we get some carryovers over the next few days, and we can have an exciting last day here at Laurel Park.
We do. We've had a couple of these carryovers come in with some strong pools over the summer. So everybody just kind of scrounging in and trying to get a piece of that pool that's going to be coming in these last couple of days here for the summer meet at Laurel Park.
And once we're done here at the Laurel Park, it's on up to the Big T, the fair, the Maryland State Fair. Timonium. We race Friday, August 26th through Sunday, August 28th. Friday, September 2nd through Labor Day, September 5th. It's always a really good time. I know you're going to be up there taking care of all the business.
I will be. Frank Vespi and I will be there, and we'll be looking for some action, not only just in our set, but we're gonna try and pull out a couple of you guys from the crowd and get some good feedback on why you guys love Timonium Meet so much for Maryland.
And I'll be going over to the cow barn, checking out some Holsteins, having myself an elephant ear and a corn dog. You can count on that. Well, we leave Timonium and we go back to Old Hilltop for our fall meet, September 9th through September 25th, Friday through Sunday. Callie, before your time, we used to go back to Pimlico every fall for a 6-week meet.
I heard about that, and I was very jealous of that. So now we get a little bit of a break for Laurel, and then we get to use Pimlico, and it's nice that we get to use Pimlico this year more than just Preakness. So we're back at Old Hilltop. I love the camaraderie there when we do run races there, and it's going to be a fun time.
I like it for the people who are stabled there, who don't have to ship, and they have to ship all the time. They're good, solid people up there. They never complain about it. They ship, so I like it for them. And I also like spending a little time at the Mount Washington Tavern. I'm not gonna lie, because I will. It's that time of year. Care for the Cause is coming up at Pimlico. This is a huge event. You covered it last year. It was a great piece, by the way, and we're looking forward to that on October 30th.
It's such a great event for the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, bringing in so much awareness. People ship in from all over the East Coast, these aren't just local Maryland people. People are shipping in from all over to get a chance to ride your horse around the racetrack, and for such a wonderful cause. It's a wonderful day. We had a lot of entries last year, and hoping to get a lot this year again today.
That's going to do it for us today at the races. Stand by for Dave Rodman. He's coming up next with Scratches and Changes.